I'm Luigi. I'm a presenter this episode of the You Don't Know Jank. Welcome! We made it to the 10th episode of You Don't Know Jank. Let's see how long I can keep this streak going. And with my new guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, kings, queens, and monarchs of every element. I'm RJ the Jank Monarch, and I'm here to answer trivia questions. Badly.
Alright, let's start with first question. So, one of the first questions in this show was about healthcare. Back then it was dental care, so I thought, which of these monsters would have the longest appointment at an optometrist based on the amount of visible eyes? Is it A, Thousand Eyes Jellyfish? Is it B, Thousand Eyes Restrict? Is it C, 100 Eyes Dragon? Or is it D, the Thousand Eyes Idol?
Oh, goodness. I'm trying to remember the images of each of these cards. So 100 Eyes Dragon is large and has a lot of eyes, but I'm trying to remember if the eyes on it are also large, because Thousand Eyes Idol is big on the page but has a lot of little eyes. I don't think it's Thousand Eyes Restrict, because I think Thousand Eyes Restrict has not much surface area but pretty large eyes, and 100 Eyes Jellyfish has a fair number of eyes, but like they're in like a pretty contained space. They're not all over its body. So I'm thinking the answer is going to be either 100 Eyes Dragon or Thousand Eyes Idol. And I just need to remember what the eyes on 100 Eyes Dragon looks like. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Thousand Eyes Idol, because I just cannot remember what 100 Eyes Dragon looks like other than its general shape.
Okay, first of all, a small correction. You're saying Thousand Eyes Jellyfish does not have has it contained on its body. It's basically just a ball of eyes with tentacles.
I mean,
yeah. So,
but it's just like.
Okay, I have
that many visible eyes.
So I've counted all of them. Thousand Eyes Idol has 18 visible eyes on its body. It's actually not that many. Thousand Eyes Jellyfish has about 40 eyes, but that was an absolute pain in the ass to count, so I may have miscounted that. That's also true for the next two, but it's far enough apart that I feel comfortable saying the order. Thousand Eyes Restrict has 54 visible eyes, though almost all of them are closed on the art, so that was not fun to count. And 100 Eyes Dragon has, only from the angle we see it, 72 visible eyes, and it actually has more than 100 if you count it from all angles.
That's wild. Yeah, I have this image in my head of Thousand Eyes Idol being covered in tiny little eyes, but I guess it's not.
Let's move on to a more anime-leaned question. And this one's very interesting because usually we only discuss when we from changes from anime, like do things like names or censorship, but this one goes a bit further. Which of these duelists is the only one with a duel where the outcome was changed between the original and the dub version? Is it A, Varus, aka Revolver? Is it Night Shroud? Is it Kaelin or Kiryu? Or is it Astral?
Okay, two of these animes that have been mentioned are animes I have seen one season of. So our options are Night Shroud, Astral, Kiryu / Kallen, and Varus / Revolver.
Yep.
I am going to say because there were a lot of changes made to Kiryu's character thanks to his being, a terrorist in the Japanese version. I'm going to guess that it was him, because a lot had to change about his story in order for them to air that.
Yep, and your hunch is correct. Kiryu, or Kellen, has a very fun card which has the dub name of Infernity Doomslinger, or the less customizable name Eternity Death Gunman. And one of his duels literally ends with that monster shooting someone in the head, which they didn't want to show. So they had him run away.
Yep, I knew it had to be Crash Town.
One right, one wrong. We're continuing with an even slate. And we're talking about much less desirable monsters now. Which of these monsters would be found at the highest altitudes? Is it Cloudian Cirrostratus, Cloudian Altus, Cloudian Nimbus Man, or Cloudian Sheep Cloud?
It's got to be Cirrostratus. I'm pretty sure that is the second highest layer of clouds, Cirrostratus. Or except Nimbus. The problem with this is that Nimbuses are freaking gigantic. They are multiple cloud layers tall. So I guess my answer, because it's Cirrus. Stratus clouds, I think, I'm trying to remember from back in elementary school. I'm trying to think of if the highest layers of clouds are high enough up that a Nimbus wouldn't make it up there. I'm going to say that it's Cirrostratus, because while Nimbus clouds are very, very tall clouds, I don't think they make it to the upper two layers of clouds. And I want to say Cirrostratus, one of those two words is one of the highest levels of cloud layer.
Yeah, so your knowledge is very good on clouds. Unfortunately, this question is really tricky because there's two clouds with the word Nimbus in them, which is the Nimbus Stratus clouds and the Cumulonimbus clouds. And if this was a Nimbus Stratus...
there were two with Nimbus in them?
Nimbus Stratus clouds are big, dark rain clouds, and Cumulonimbus is the one you described, which tower up from all cloud layers. And they are gathered together from the cumulus or sheep cloud. And, cirrostratus clouds can be found up to 13 kilometers in height, but the highest cumulonimbus clouds can reach up to a height of 16 kilometers, actually.
Oh, that's wild. I knew that they got really goddamn tall. I did not know that they got up to those layers.
Yep. The only other cloud that we can find even higher up is when we have a typhoon that drives up the clouds even higher than that.
I'll know this for the next time I encounter a cloud in battle.
From the water above to the water below, we're talking about another archetype, which is a very curious archetype because all of these are fish monsters, but we don't see a lot of fish. Which of these monsters is the only one depicting an actual fish? Is it A, Fishborg Archer, B, Fishborg Doctor, C, Fishborg Harpooner, or D, Fishborg Launcher?
The third one is that just Fish Harpooner?
Fishborg Harpooner. All of these are Fishborg monsters.
Oh no. So I know that the thing with Fishborgs is that they are not actually fish. They are like woodland creatures inside of mechs. I know that Fishborg Blaster is like a squirrel. So it's Fishborg Blaster, Fishborg Launcher, Fishborg Harpooner, and one last one.
Fishbook Archer, Doctor, Harpooner, Launcher.
Doctor. I'm gonna guess doctor because the profession of doctor is different from the other professions. All the other professions are warlike professions, and doctor is not. And therefore, I would imagine if one of those contained a fish and not a woodland creature, it would be the doctor.
So, have you ever looked at the card compulsory evacuation device? There's magical scientist and another guy with an afro on there. That afro guy is actually on Fishbook Doctor for some reason. He's the one piloting it.
Oh, I have...
So, as for the others, Fishbook Archer is a pair of seals, which are not fish. Fishbook Launcher is a giant water bug, also known as a toe biter, which is also an insect and not a fish. Fishbook Harpooner is a sailfish, so that is the only one that is an actual fish.
Why did they... That's fascinating. Okay.
And now we've come for the bonus round. And the bonus round is a very peculiar round this time, because normally I present monsters and have people gauge your attributes. We're not doing this time. What I'm telling you is 7 spell cards. And you tell me if the spell card can summon a fusion monster or not.
Okay.
First one, Scatter Fusion.
Scatter Fusion. That is... yes, Scatter Fusion can summon a fusion monster because I believe that's the fusion card in Power of the Elements. And that is the way that in Power of the Elements Sealed, you can summon Lady Rose Diamond. So I'm going to say yes, Scatter Fusion does fusion summon.
Yep, it is a fusion summon for Gem Knights. Defusion.
So this is tricky because if a fusion monster was used as fusion material for the fusion being sent back to the extra deck, and that fusion monster that's being sent back to the extra deck is on the side of the field of the person who did the person who activated defusion, then defusion can summon a fusion monster from the graveyard. It is not a fusion spell, but if a fusion monster was used as material for the fusion monster sent back, then it can summon a fusion monster.
That is correct. Yes, it can summon a fusion monster. You've seen the trick here. Yep. Next one, Overfusion.
I have never heard of this card in my life. Overfusion. Not overload fusion. Just overfusion.
Yep.
I'm going to guess... I'm going to say no, it doesn't fusion summon. I don't know anything about this card, but I know that the last 2 cards have been able to summon fusion monsters, and there are some cards with fusion in their name that just don't even have anything to do with summoning.
Yeah, so this one lets you reveal a Neos or Neospatian card or a level 10 monster and make a monster be treated as that monster for the purposes of a fusion summon. And if you happen to control a Neos, you can also bin the card you just revealed. So it's like a Foolish and fusion tag in one card.
That's cool.
Next one is Fusion Armament.
Fusion Armament or Fusion Weapon?
Fusion Armament.
Okay, I know what Fusion Weapon is. I don't know what Fusion Armament is. I'm going to say that Fusion Armament is a retrain of Fusion Weapon, and I'm going to say no, it does not summon fusion monsters.
Fusion Armament can summon a fusion monster. It is tied to the new Flame Swordsman retrain stuff. Alright, next one. Fusion Deployment.
Fusion Deployment does not fusion summon because it summons from the main deck.
Correct. Battle Fusion.
Battle Fusion. Is that going to be like Battle Tuned, which has nothing to do with summoning monsters? I am going to say Battle Fusion does fusion summon, or it summons fusion monsters.
Battle Fusion does not summon anything at all. It is basically a quick play spell, honest.
Oh my god, it is exactly like Battle Tune. I said exactly what the card did, and then I was like, whatever. Okay.
And finally, Dowsing Fusion.
Thousand Fusion?
Dowsing Fusion, yep.
Dowsing Fusion. Yes. I'm gonna say that summons fusion monsters.
Yes, it is specifically a fusion card for pendulum monsters.
Excellent.
5 out of 7. Fairly good record.
I'll take it.
Now we head into round 2. And round 2 has the point values doubled, so you can gain 2,000 points and lose 2,000 points, depending on the right or wrong answer. Let's make something weird without any context, which is also true for some card effects, because which of these cards are you allowed to look at with the anime effect of Darkness Neosphere? A. Your hand. B. Your graveyard. C. Your monster zone. Or D. Your spell trap zone.
You are not allowed to look at
No,
these
you
things?
are allowed
are
via
allowed
its
to look.
effect.
You are allowed to look at these things
Via its effect
via
in the
its
anime.
effect.
And you can probably guess something weird's going on if you can look with on either of these things within a card effect.
So it's and these are your own graveyard
Yes.
hand or monster zone or deck.
Spell
Those
trap
are all
zone.
the options. Spell trap zone.
Yeah. Only public
Graveyard
information
zone.
no, not public information zones. Information zones you have normally access to in any situation.
I'm going to guess that the only thing, so it's graveyard hand and then
Monster or spell traps.
monster or spell traps. I'm going to guess that the only thing that you can see under Darkness Neosphere would be your monster zones. I'm thinking anime logic here. In an anime, like, the thing that has to happen is battle. And the purpose of a villain is to, like, cast doubt onto that battle. And if you can't see your hand, you can't see your spell trap zone, you can't see your graveyard, you don't know what's going on, you can only work with monsters. The only thing that's having me second guessing that is the idea of, like, only being able to see the graveyard, so you can only look at, like, the souls of the dead or whatever and make your decisions based on that. So I'm still going to stick with Monster Zone, I think.
So, to understand why Darkness Neosphere has such a weird effect, we need to look at what deck it is. And this is the final antagonist of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX with the True Night Shout, or just simply called Darkness in the Japanese version. And he has a field spell also just called Darkness, which basically sets up a very weird board state where he has 5 random face-down spell trap cards, and they only work if he manages to flip up 0 and Infinity before the others, which then have increasingly devastating effect if he gets the order of them right. And he does that at random. And Neosphere lets him cheat in that and just look at them first.
See your spell and trap zone.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing where he just randomly has to flip these up.
There is no world in which I was going to guess that.
Except if you've seen the 4th season that was never dubbed.
It's wild. I have seen the 4th season that was never dubbed, but that was 14 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Now we're moving back to the real card game. And in this case, I have to ask, this is of course only about classic monsters. So Which of these monsters is not playable in Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories? Is it A. Cornfield Kotal, B. Mirror Sword Knight, C. Jongleur Ghoul Illusionist, or D. Talons of Shuri Lane?
So, could you read for me C and D again?
Jongleur Ghoul Illusionist and Talons of Shuri Lane.
And this is which of these was not playable?
Yep. 3 of these cards are actually in Dark Duel Stories. All of these have only appeared in the TCG in the past year, as you can probably guess that they are retrains considering they're all illusion monsters, but
I am going to toss out a guess. So it was Mirror Sword Knight, it was Cornfield Coatl, and then the other two whose names I can't remember.
Jongleur Ghoul Illusionist and Talons of Shuri Lane.
I am going... And is that Talons or Talents?
Talons, like the thing that birds have.
Talons, okay. I am going to guess that it is Cornfield Coatl, because everything else has a name that sounds like something that would have showed up in the DM era.
Okay. So first of all, we can eliminate Talons of Shuri Lane because that exists in that form in that game. I don't know why it was added there. It's a very strange card that has not reappeared until it has been recently printed, and 2 months ago in the TCG, I think. So, there's a feature in Dark Duel Stories which lets you combine random card parts with each other. And 2 of these monsters have been getting TCG prints. These were Cornfield Coatl and Mirror Sword Knight. The only one that is not actual from that game is Jongleur Ghoul Illusionist. That card is very convoluted pun in Japanese, which, if just translating the translation, is basically just called something like it's too late, run away, or something like that is how it's translated.
It just sounded so much like a DM era name, I couldn't rule it out.
Great, now let's move on to the next one, and this one's also about cards, and this is a funny pronunciation one, but one you are probably less good at than, like, say, the Dragoonity names. Which of these Earthbound Immortal monsters is not based on an animal? Is it A, Earthbound Immortal Chakuchalua?
Kukapak Apu.
Yeah,
it's the only one out of them that's not based on an animal. One is the giant, one is the hummingbird, one is the orca, one is the condor, one is the lizard, and I don't remember all of them. But Kukapak Apu, I know even without you naming all of them, is
right.
The giant.
Kukapak Apu means mighty lord, and
yeah.
Funnily enough, Chakuchalua is a whale or an orca, but the word actually means anchovy.
Amazing, amazing.
This is the reverse of something I've asked last time. Which of these monsters is a cyber monster? Is it A, Cyber Jar, B, Cybersaurus, C, Cyber Falcon, or D, Cyber Stein?
Which of these is a cyber monster?
Yes. Only one of these is a real cyber monster.
Based on, like, real life definitions of cyber?
No, that if they are there's only one of them that is considered to have the word cyber in the name.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's like the Archfiend thing, but in reverse.
Okay. So we've got Cyberjar, Cybersaurus, Cyberstein,
and Cyber Falcon.
And Cyber Falcon. Ooh. why would this matter? There has to be a card in the game that cares about the word cyber. Or this is just about translation things. So I am going to guess, I'm trying to remember. So Cybersaurus, that's the fusion guy with the gun on its arm. Cyber Falcon is also basically a vanilla. Mm-hmm. So, and those seem like the things that are most likely to have had translation weirdness. Mm-hmm. I am going to say that it is Cyberjar, because the two DM vanillas, the DM era messed up names all the time for no reason. Cyberstein sounds like it also, unless... Oh, hold up. I don't know that Cyberstein's name in Japanese isn't just Cyberstein. I actually have this image in my head that Cyberstein is actually named that in the OCG.
So, what will your answer be? Are you sticking with Jar or with...
I'm going to stick with Jar. I'm going to stick with Cyberjar.
So, going through them, we can eliminate Cyber Falcon and Cybersaurus because they have the same translation error. They are actually Mecha Falcon and Mechasaurus in the OCG, and they were just renamed Cyber because they thought one name is cooler. So, you say you had an image in mind, but it is not called Cyberstein in the OCG. Cyberstein's OCG name is Devil Franken. So it's not a cyber monster.
Rad.
Cyberjar is the only one that is exactly that.
Hell yeah.
It has the word jar translated to Japanese, but I forgot what the word was. So it's also funny. There's another monster which is like cybernetic something, but isn't a cyber monster, and it has the word cyber in it, but it doesn't have the dash that makes the A a long vowel, and so it doesn't count. Yeah.
Amazing.
Now let's move on to the finale, and good to hear that you're not firm on the anime, because this is gonna make this thing a lot funnier. Because
oh boy.
I am going to show you 7 pictures, and the only thing you have to tell me is which anime is it from.
Oh boy, okay, alright.
Let's start with a very simple one. Which anime is this from?
That's from GX. That's the first scene in GX.
Correct. Didn't fall for the fact that this is Yugi. This is from GX. So let's move on to another familiar character. Perhaps not.
That is 5Ds.
Yeah.
That guy's in the prison, or he's the first guy who you say duels in Satellite. I don't remember which one.
So he duels Akiza, and in the dub they gave him a name. They say it's the cousin of Joey called Jesse Wheeler because of the obvious similarity. This is not his original dub name, but
that's amazing. That's incredible.
I love the dub names. So now that we have the easy ones out of the way, let's start with something more tricky. Where is this scene from?
Oh my god. So there's a chance any of these things is actually from Arc 5, and I would have no idea because I've never seen Arc 5. The same goes for Go Rush and Sevens, but this looks very Zexal to me. This looks like the style of animation in Zexal.
This is from Brains. This is just someone with a Skull Servant avatar.
Oh, I should have known from the little thing on the guy's arm. The Brains link thing. Okay, yeah.
Right, let's move on to the next one. Which anime is this?
That is the Academy uniform from 5Ds, isn't it?
Kinda looks like it, doesn't it?
Oh, no. But that's not 5D's animation style.
These characters, by the way, are specifically from Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force.
That is not 5D's looking animation. I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say this is Arc 5 because I just don't recognize anything going on this screen.
This is probably one of the meaner tricks I could have pulled on you, because you correctly identified the 5D's uniform, because it is the 5D's uniform, but these characters appear in Cardfight Vanguard. This is just straight up the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force girls just put in Vanguard for some reason.
No wonder I have no idea what's going on in this image.
Alright, let's see if you recognize these characters.
I mean, this is very much DM's style, but this also could very well just be Dragon Ball, and I would not be shocked. There is legitimately a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card in this shot, but that does not preclude the possibility that...
I'm assuming you're not too familiar with Naruto if you don't recognize the characters from the show there.
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah. This is Ino, Shoji, and Shikamaru from Naruto in the middle row here.
Oh my god, so they are. Wait, legit? Is this Naruto?
No, it's not Naruto. So,
Okay.
wait, sorry, I shouldn't have said that right away before you gave your final answer, but...
Okay. I'm going to say that this is GX.
This is DM. This, like, you saw DM. It right away, but... yeah, they...
I was just like, I couldn't think of Naruto as being in the same era as DM. But
Kishimoto and Tazuki Takahashi apparently were just friends enough to that she just, like, puts, like, a little reference here and there.
Fair enough, okay.
Right. Let's move on to the sixth one.
Well, that is obviously Aqua Dolphin.
Yep.
But it is an Aqua Dolphin rug? What is a mascot uniform? Being attacked by what appears to be a Jirac monster? Or a Digimon? I don't know. So I'm gonna say it's not GX because I feel like this is a reference to GX and not GX itself. I don't recognize the animation style based on what I'm seeing here. This doesn't look like a scene I would recognize from 5Ds. I'm gonna say it's Vrains because it kind of looks like that Jirac ass guy has the like watch on him, the Vrains ass watch.
This isn't only just Reigns, it's literally from the same shot as the one with the Skull Serpent. It's just, I just cropped the picture in two places.
Amazing.
Good you paid attention to the watches, because that's what's the trick here. Alright, and the final one, and well, this could be really difficult for you. I don't know if you're familiar with this anime at all.
What is this, Duel Masters? It's either Duel Masters or Chaotic. I'm gonna guess Duel Masters.
So this is Hayate the Combat Butler.
I was not gonna get that. I've never seen any of these images in my life. It's very funny.
Well, you did well with the animation style. Awesome. So now that we've reached the end of the episode and you have reached the score, which will be on screen, and I don't care about counting right now, wanna give a shout out, a mention, or say anything you like, basically?
Yeah, you should. Anybody watching this should watch the Yu-Gi-Oh! Regression series, and also Chaos Draft, and should play Chaos Draft, and also play Cube. Those are all my recommendations. Those are my shoutouts. Those are my plugs.
Awesome. Maybe I'll play Yu-Gi-Oh! One day. I heard it's fun.
It's got its ups and downs.
All right, and I see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Try harder next time.
Is that Joey Wheeler?
No, man, it's his cousin Jesse Wheeler.